2. Believe me, there are no bad people. Raghunnath. The stone dissolves. The soil also dissolves. Minds do not dissolve. This is the case today. Let us remember the story of Hiranyaksha Purana. Hiradvashi has fallen on the back of the giantess Bhudevi. A Bali, who is running away from the chasing Rakshasa, goes to Narayana to fall or die. Relief of Bhudevi's suffering with the slaying of Hiranyaksha as Narayana Varaha avatar. Today's situation is not very different from the mythology. Bhudevi is feared even today. If there is one Hiranyaksha in Purana, there are many Hiranyakshas in the present. Ours is a heritage of longing to see the plow lines in the soil, the eyes of the seed sprouts in those lines, in the form of the tillers. Today is the occasion to measure soil particles in dust. Kannada cinema from Chandavelya Thota to Prithvi has effectively depicted this contrast. Literary works on children of the soil have increased their possibilities by being transformed into visual media. Many sympathizers have also been reached. The soil in our hearts has different faces. The soil that is loved by the first son of Mother Earth. The soil that expresses the uniqueness of Kannada, the richness of the folk language. The soil that is the ground for birth. The soil that is the platform for death. The soil covers the web of life to the extent that if we exclude the soil, our life is soil. That's why soil is Bhudevi, Bhumai. This creative soil has a spiritual face called back to soil. Making soil, or joining soil, is a symbol of the end of the journey of life. But how can we think of creative soil as a metaphor for the final journey of life? For a reason, a poet's joining the soil will look like sowing to another poet's eyes. Bendra's speech on the occasion of Madurchena's last rites, to see the soil. It is like giving a new eye. During the last rites of Madurachena, Bendri, who was a Vedic, offered soil to Madurachena, a Virashaiva, just as Bendri descended into the pit and offered the first soil to his friend. We have sown. Simpai Lingana has remembered this extraordinary incident in his work, Sri Madura Chenar Smriti. The astonishment of the soil as it peels away the layers is endless. And divine, Amma and God are two sides of the same coin. For now, this essay contains stories of the farmer's favorite soil. TV, Chandavali Thota, directed by Singh Thakur and P. Seshadri's Betata Jiva. Movies are successful films depicting the relationship between soil and man and the changes in that relationship. Chandavelya Thota is based on Tarasu's novel of the same name. Tarasu himself wrote the screenplay dialogue for this film. Betata Jiva is a movie based on Shivaram Karanth's novel. Savanyagowda and Gopalaya of Betata Jiva have similarities. Both of Chandavali tried to woo and adapt to nature. Taking Amaldar's words as a rotten branch without even a coconut tree as a challenge, Savanyagowda pacifies Bengid. Gopalaya cuts a hill and makes a garden. With Chandavali's plantation falling to selfish people, the family and the town are headed towards disaster. Kanumul, like a piece of heaven created by Gopalaya, becomes a resort over time. This episode, which is not present in the novel, Betata Jiva, is a change brought by Seshadri in the movie. Chandavali and Kanumul are examples of our ancestors' love for land and agriculture. This love is a model of deifying the earth. On the other side of this worship there is a tendency to treat the earth as a commercial commodity. Because of this, Chandavali becomes a resort, Kanumul becomes a resort. Just as the tragedy of Chandavali is a tragedy of a family and a tragedy of values, the transformation of Kanumul is also a metaphor for Gopalaya's cherished hopes. In an environment where guests were seen as gods, hospitality has become a business. Owning land is self-respecting, a symbol of pride and independence. Chomani of the film, Chomanadudi, gets his own plot of land and feels like life counts. However, the villagers are worried that, if the farmers take the plow, there will be a deluge. His daughter tells him that Choma's wish is delusional. On the one hand, the woes of the Dalit world seem never-ending. On the other hand, the beauty of life is revealed through the music of duty, which comes to life in Choma's hands. A chapter of Dalit life was added to modern Kannada literature when Sivarama Karantha's novel, Chomanadudi, was published, 1933, which brilliantly portrays these contrasts. This unique story is written by B.V. when Karantha was released in 1973 and became a Dalit touch for the entire Indian cinema. Choma lost his 3 sons. The daughter, who is double-minded about her father's faith, listens to her body. When all hopes are dashed, Choma breaks the plow and throws it away. Duty resounds as if all the vitality of Choma's body is fueled. Choma's life also ends with that Nina. The story ends with us catching the dirt in our face. During the movie, Chomanadudi, G.V. Iyer, produced, Budana, 1962. By P.S. Gopalakrishna, G.V. Iyer, should be remembered. This film should be recognized as the forerunner of Iyer's penchant for experimental films. Vinoba's Budin movement also peeks into the story of this film. Rajkumar, Kalyan Kumar and Udaya Kumar, who are known as Kumarathrayar, are the only film together, which is one of the special features of Budana. Though his desire to own land is fulfilled through Vinoba's Budin movement, the land is lost due to the machinations of the village rich. The tragedy of Dasana's children also reminds of the life of Choma's children. Here, instead of work, there is self-interest. That is, the thick shadow of Chomanadudi can be detected on the film Budana. For people like Choma, land is a form of self-reliance and fulfillment of life. There are those who see the land as a form of sovereignty. The pages of mythology abound in the likes of Alexander, the ambitious Bharata emperor who planted his flags across the globe. But what if a farmer becomes greedy? Tolstoy's How Much Land Does One Need? In this story brought to Kannada by Gundappa, a farmer who fell in love with the land loses his piece of life. In one day he walks on foot with the aim of taking as much land as he wears and finally meets his end. At the end of the story the narrator quotes, "All he wanted from his scalp to his fingers were Audis." Tolstoy's story has been used by director Jayathirtha in his film, Tony. One of the 3 stories that Jayathirtha narrates in the film, Tony, in the form of explaining the meaning of happiness, is the story of the farmer's yearning for land. Ide Bhumi Nibara Itkadri How. We also need land. We want our own land. We need our own crops. We need to be our own masters. It is our right to live freely, he asks the owner of the land in the movie. Whoever wants land, stand on this line. Give me a ben and run. Melt your body and run. Run as far as you can. How much land you want? Run there. If you don't have enough land, plant this plant on the land from there. All that land up to this line is yours, said the owner, Evening Sun. He also imposes a condition that you should come back and touch this line before you sink. Finally, the farmers here get only 6 feet of land. Choma is not a character confined to a movie or a novel. There are people all around us. The story of one such Choman is Giragauda of Kudubi. It is not known how many people have noticed the story of this Chomana who lived in the land of Chomana where Shivaram Karant appeared. Here's an excerpt from Guriya Gowda's story as depicted in Kodibetu Rajalakshmi's Marali Managed Choma, published in Muktakanda, May 5, 2017, Puravani of Prajavani. Jiri with combed-back hair and morning hair all over his chest. The Gowdas lived in Kudubi Bagu near Bajai, Mangalore. When the land was acquired for the Mangalore Special Economic Zone, the government searched for a better alternative for the upper castes among the victims and acquired the agricultural land of Jiri Gowda. This land, when Guriya Gowda died, February 26, 2017, who fought till his last breath against acquisition, there was a hint of defeat in the minds of other seniors in the college, but Guriya Gowda was not a loser in life. Jiri Gowda had 1.5 acres of land belonging to him before his death. While we were talking, we came to know that some of the pieces in the farm were also given to loved ones. In the palm-width land that was left, they used to draw water from a well in the moonlight at night and cultivate. Instead of plowing, paddy was cultivated. The roots of each plant were watered by hand and the growing vegetables were taken to the neighboring market and sold. He had dedicated his life to the earth with so much love. That land had to be lost. The Jiri Gowdas asked MPs and MLAs to give them agricultural land. Siddharamaiah, Yediyurappa, Kumaraswamy appealed to everyone. He spoke to the leaders who were fighting against the industries. He went to Delhi and spoke. His struggle reached the High Court. A Lokayukta investigation was also held. In the Gowda community of Jiri, Gaudiya is a religiously led degree, responsible for overseeing family worship, Kudubi community rituals and rituals. He believed that if there is no spiritual aspiration behind the religious practice, it would be just a drama, and he was saddened to see that the present generation prefers ritual to spirituality. 20 years ago he refused, saying, "I don't want this degree." He wanted every individual to take independent decisions. He was not going to impose his opinion on his people about whether to keep or give up the land. Jiri Gowda, who had only learned to sign in the literacy movement, had taken a loan from the bank. A huge amount was deposited into his account on the pretext of getting signatures on bank letters. As soon as they came to know that it was the compensation given for the seized agricultural land, Jiri Gowda refused it. Even when the cataract surgery was done, he refused to withdraw the money from his account. "I have sworn in front of God that I will not give land." They uprooted and constructed huge bungalows, shrines and cobra dams. Thus, "I can't touch the money out of proportion," was his stand. An 80-year-old man used to live by carrying bundles of curry leaves. Anyone who saw him would wonder if it was so easy to win a desire. The values were moved by the Gaudas of Bali Jiri. Jiri Gowda's life reminds Choman of Shivaram Karantara's novel, Chomana Duty. Karantara Chomani had no land. Today's Chomani have to fight for land even if they have it. Let's get back to the topic of Choman on screen from Guriya Gowda, who has lived with dignity among us, compared to Choman and Dasana. Ira is lucky in Girish Kasaravali's Kanasembo Kudriyanari. In this film based on story writer Amaresh Nugadani's story, Sawari, the regret of the situation where all hopes are lost is stability. Faith is as necessary as food for survival. All human beings have built their lives on certain beliefs. The story raises appropriate questions that what right do others have to interfere with those beliefs and insult them? Kasaravali renders the dense details of this Takalata implicitly and subtly in the language of metaphors. Ira's character here is as unique as Choma's. His personality is dignified even though he is small in the eyes of the people of Ira, who waits for and celebrates the lives of others. He has great faith in the truth of his dreams. So much so that if his dream turns out to be false, the drops will fall out, so much so that he is reluctant to sleep when such a belief is false. He believed in the God who was blessed. However, Ira is not as unlucky as Choma. The deity he believed in gives the hand of Kayaka Ira, who digs a hole to bury the hen, a thread of the formula of a plow line. A new dream begins with Ira taking the plow. Ira's process of becoming a farmer, a metaphor for awareness and freedom, self-reliance. As another dimension of Choma's story, B. You can see Puttakana Highway, directed by Suresh. Here, the highway passes over Puttaka's sand dunes. High-speed image. For the young car, this highway is a wonderful road, a symbol of development. The sacred land where the memory of her husband is embedded in Puttaka's share. Puttaka's daughter plies her trade under a flyover formed to embrace the highway that passes through this same land. This movie, which shows a piece of land in many forms, aspires to discuss the complexities of contemporary politics. The lives of the Dalit world are just stories of yearning to hold the plow. What is unique is the life of an educated young man who leaves the priesthood and tills the field. Kai Dataraja's Kamanabilu is one of the best farmer stories in Kannada cinema. The story of the movie, Kamanabilu, when the father's priestly ministry does not fill his stomach, the hero takes a plow and becomes self-reliant. Along with Kamanabilu, the movie to be remembered is Nagadahali Chandrasekhar's Matad Matad Malaj, two popular Kannada actors playing the roles of farmers. Both works based on rural and peasant life. When the film Kamanabilu opened, the film inspired even some educated people to think about agriculture. Inter-caste marriage is another thread of the movie Kamanabilu. He instilled love for agriculture. Rainbow had effectively advocated that love humanity is more important than caste. Compared to the time when this film directed by C.H. Dataraj was released, the film Matad Matad Malaj, directed by Nagadahali Chandrasekhar, was a time when the life of farmers was more miserable. This movie also talks about the hardships of farmers and the importance of agriculture. But the sense of beauty that pervades the entire film weakens the cinema. In the film, Manasa Sarovar, by Puttana Kanagala, poet G.S. Shivrudrapana's poem, Vedanti said Hanela Mudna Mudna, is used. If we look at the activities of the common people, the monks' monasteries, the modern monks who teach the art of life, Manela Hanu Hanu, seems to be the universal meditation of today. When the eyes of multinational companies and capitalists are on the farmer's land, it is not so easy to see the real farmer. This difficulty can also be identified in the context of the Bollywood film Peetli Live. Directed by Anusha Rizzi, Peetli Live is a film about a farmer who decides to commit suicide, and is like a farmer's bane to Bollywood, whose mantra is to sell colorful dreams. The unglamorous material, the realities of life are naturally overlooked, so this film about farmers' suicides was touted as something special. Farmers Nada and Bhutia of this film are facing the fear of drowning their land in the vortex of bank loans. In the agony of losing the land inherited from his ancestors, he hears that, if a farmer commits suicide, the government will get compensation. In a moment of weakness, Nada says that he will commit suicide. The matter resonates at home, in Kerry, and reaches the ears of a reporter. All that follows is a media story. The topic of my suicide becomes a ladder for channels TRP, and a platform for politicians OT politics. While one group indirectly pressures Nada to commit suicide, another group wants him to live. The satirical language used by the director to depict the events surrounding Nada's suicide has been effectively portrayed by the politicians of the channels and their cruelty, jealousy, unhealthy rivalry and pettiness. However, the film leaves doubts about the true extent of the farmer's concern of the director of the film. Although the focus of the film, Peef Live, is the suicide of a farmer, the whole film talks about the moral suicide of the media. Even if there was a movie star, a model, an athlete or a software engineer in the place of the farmer who was about to commit suicide, the effect of the story would not have changed. The environment in which the story was taking place was changing. So, the story of the farmer in the movie, Peef Live, also looks like a commodity. At the end of the film, the authorities refuse compensation as Natana Savu, fictional death, is not a suicide. The whole family is staring at zero again. The sad story of today's farmer should begin from here, but the movie ends when the story should begin. The question that saves the movie is whether the farmer can be an excuse for the director to satirize the media and politics. The director mocking the moral bankruptcy of the media is also a reflection of reality. However, they are not ready to identify the moisture that may remain in the media in this case. Would it have been possible for farmers' distress and suicide cases, which could have been hidden in the government's indifference and bureaucracy's divine neglect, to come to light if they had gone without media coverage? Peef Live has completely turned its back on this question. After watching the movie, Peef Live, one remains with the regret that modern cinema has not yet been able to portray the Indian farmer. This is not just a complaint related to Bollywood. Apart from the artistic films, the real farmer is absent in the films of all languages including Kannada. He is more lost in sentimentality and glorification. Look at the pictures of our popular actors. Though farmers are the largest class of the country, agriculture is the land of this land. Despite being the profession of the majority, our star charisma artists are completely averse to agricultural narratives. Shivaraj Kumar himself was the resident. His acting, Bhumi Mati Chakila Maga, and Chigurita Soya, are pro-farmer films. SV directed by Rajendra Singh Babu, Bhumi Mati Chochila Maga, tells the story of a young man's attempt to create a reservoir in a drought-stricken land. Based on Shivaram Karantha's novel, Chigurita Siam, Dur. T.S. Nagabarana, the story of a city-educated youth who comes to a village in search of his roots and takes up farming, inspired by the Kannada film, Swadish, Dur. Ashutosh Gorika, a Bollywood movie starring Shah Rukh Khan in the lead role. Using successfully, it was international news. While the new generation of actors have not nurtured pro-farmer stories, it should be noted that Kannada film legend Rajkumar has acted in many farmer-oriented films. One of the reasons behind Rajkumar's phenomenal popularity could be his portrayal of the peasant community in various forms through his characters. Chandavelia Thota, Budin, Rainbow, Son of Soil, Man of Gold, Siblings. So many films Raj has represented the children of soil. Manana Maga, 1968, is one of the popular films directed by Geeta Priya. The protagonist, who is despised by the village society, succeeds in cultivating the barren land that belongs to him and becomes recognized by all. Baluvalata Madalali, 1975, which appears as another dimension of this film, is an epic tale of a couple who transforms a barren land into paradise. This film is also directed by Geeta Priya. Rajesh and Kalpana are in lead roles. Along with the story of a farmer, the film also depicts family love conflict. When a drop of sweat falls on the lap of Baluvala, each drop of sweat is covered. The song, Ragia Jolata Tenayatadu, tells the story of the film. How can there be a son of the soil and not a daughter of the soil? Based on the novel by Krishnamurti Puranika, Daughter of Soil, opened in 1974. BS produced, directed by Ranga Jayanti, starring Uday Kumar. R. Nagendra Rao Balakrishna leads the heroine, who bears the responsibility of her family due to the death of her husband, who was engrossed in luxuries, sells the tali in her neck and cultivates a piece of land. Children also join the mother. This movie, which shows the relation of woman with the earth, depicts mother's motherly love as well as her love. Made by Siddhalingaya in the context of a talk about farmers, Golden Man film should be specially remembered. It is the record-breaking film that ran for 104 weeks. Rajiv's role in Bangara Mansion is the reason for the success of the movie that many people feel like their own role. The film is a story of an educated young man who sweats and cultivates a barren land. Along with the agricultural achievement of the protagonist, the story of love and the nobility of sacrifice are mixed together, and Golden Man is recognized as one of the best Kannada films. Another special feature of this movie is that it inspired some people to take up plow. If you sit with your hands tied saying that it will not happen, Sagadu, work ahead. Live by believing in work. That's why the song, Search for God, is an inspirational song for those who love hard work. Siblings, one of the last films of the princes, is also a farmer's story. Believe in the soil of bad people. There is a song in the film where the protagonist tells his brother, Tamaya ne Kelu. It is debatable to what extent this statement is true for farmers at present. However, it is not true that real estate agents and mine owners who believe in soil are also Kubera. In Golden Man, the protagonist holds the soil in a bowl and pleads with Mother Earth on 2 occasions. You believed in yourself and embarked on this work to uphold a broken family. The prayer of a hero when devoting himself to agricultural work is to give food and protect him without regret if the ignorant make a mistake. This same hero, while being away from his family in the climax of the film, says, "Mother, mother, you are the one who saved the broken family by feeding them food. Now I am going far, far away from you. Don't be angry that I left, mother." He prays, "Grace and protect everyone as you have protected me." These 2 prayers are in the real sense the prayers of Indian peasant culture: devotion to Mother Earth, faith and humility towards one's work, and desire for the welfare of all. These are the qualities of Mother Earth's firstborn children. Along with Rajkumar's Man of Gold, the film Bangara, Son of Bangara Man, by Shiva Rajkumar of this period should be seen together. Directed by Yogi G. Raj, this movie is a shade of one of the classics of Kannada cinema, Bangarad Mansion. The enthusiasm and sincerity of the film crew in discussing the current problems of the farmers is admirable, but the pulse of the agricultural culture and the glimpse of the rural culture is lacking here. Here is the heroism of solving farmers' problems through emotional struggle without knowing the ground realities. Except for a song at the end of the movie, there is no plow or hoe in the film. In the context of globalization, The problem is simplified by assuming that the farmers do not sell their produce for a few days, causing a fort in the society. In the Tamil movie, Kathi, farmers protest to the city by avoiding basic amenities. The struggle there is dramatic but not unrealistic or childish. In the movie, Son of Bangara, the peasants rage against the people of the cities. However, the majority in the cities also forget the fact that they are children of farmers. Along with the life of the farmers, the rural life of Hashuhaka is absent in the movie. Protesting over the corpse of a farmer couple is a strong and mature scene in the movie. Yogi could have created another golden man if he had kept this metaphor throughout the film. The director, who has a book of songs, dances and fights in his hand and has set out to make the children of the soil suffer from anxiety, cannot be sure of what he is saying. He has made the hero of the film a cancer patient. He seems to be implying through the hero's ending that he is not real to the people, he is only a beautiful dream or an illusion. Who does not know the impact of mining on the social, cultural and political sectors of the country in the last decade? The dust raised in the ground of Bellary due to mining has not only changed the face of the place, but also caused a shift in the value system of the entire society. In the movie Prithvi, we can see the hope that if the bureaucracy is honest, then day robberies can be eradicated. Directed by Jacob Varghese and starring Puneet Rajkumar in the lead role, the film is a bold statement against mining. Although the farmer is the central figure of most pro-farmer films in Kannada, the stories speak for the overall good of the society. Rejection of caste restrictions, flourishing of family values, assertion of humanity is the hope of these stories. These have provided an opportunity for self-criticism and social criticism by introducing many dimensions of Kannada society to the fellows. Farmer's life has become more complicated today. Changes in nature cycle, new generation that seems to have lost interest in unity, capitalism that sees every inch of land in terms of rupees, agricultural land undergoing industrial and urban development. Thus, the very identity of the farmer is under threat due to many reasons. Trying to interpret all these subtleties is a challenge for any art form. Today's Rajiva or Karantara Choma was created by Siddhalingaya. Literature also has to face the question of not being able to create in time. Cinema also needs to be faced. Author, Raghunath C.H. Born, 1974, in Harilapura, Madugiri Taluk, Tumkur District. Kannada MA Graduate Diploma in Journalism and Postgraduate Education. Literature cinema are the main areas of interest. Managing Editor of Sudha Mayura Newspapers. Horagu Prem Inorgo Prem Stories. Ragimudi Anthology. Chelapili Articles. Sati Sulachana Puttalakshmi Kathas Children's Stories. He is the recipient of awards like Gulbarga University Endowment Prize and Gold Medal for Stories, Katarangam Award, Prize in Vijaya Karnataka Ankita, Ugadi Katha Competition, Kannada Sahitya Palashats, Vasudeva Bhupalam, Endowment Prize for Story Collection and K. Sambesavappa Memorial Award. Source: Silver Creek, Cinema Essays, 2019.